Okay, give it a couple minutes. Got lots of stuff to cover today. All right, I'm going to work on a couple of these while I'm waiting. Let's move the paints up here, maybe. There we go. Hi, Missy. How's it going? I have one with gold already in it. This one. All right. How you doing? Some gold in some of these while we're waiting. Hi, Tori, Kristen, Pamela, sweet lady. Hey, sweet lady. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well. Christina. Everyone coming in. I think I need that light a little closer. I don't know if I can get it any closer. I think it's as close as it's going to get. Okay. It's a little dark right there. Maybe if I move this over a little this way, I don't know. Deb E. I think I've caught everybody so far. Good morning. Thanks everybody for being here. Hi, Janet. Janet, do you miss the puppy? Do you miss her? Janet's been puppy sitting the last week, and she went home yesterday. The puppy did, not Janet. Get a sip of my lemon water. I do have a banana over here. It's the pollen. The pollen, it's lots. So we all just try to, I don't take any medicine for it or anything, but it does make my voice a little scratchy. Got a banana. Oh, let's see. Joy. Hi, Mary. How you been, Mary? You didn't stream yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, you didn't stream yesterday. I hope you're feeling better. Mary's had a flu or something. She's getting over that. So she's been, it could be the pollen too, Mary. I don't know if you have it up there where you are. But I didn't have to go outside of my PJs this morning. Did you run your Roomba around your house? Let's see. Oh, scrolling. Hi, Kat. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do one of these real quick because I've been just slowly working on my ATCs. I don't really want to give it all away, but not yet, but you will. Okay. So somebody sent me this. If anybody wants to fess up, Janet said it wasn't her. Someone sent me some gold flakes from the US Art Supply. And they didn't come in Amazon. They came like, in a box from, I guess, from US Art Supply. So whoever sent these to me, we were talking about it. We were talking about them last week, I think. I think I was shouting out Eddie. Eddie makes art using them. And, but anyway, I have not tried it yet on the washi tape papers, the washi tape sheets, to make your own washi. I haven't tried it on that, but I did test it out a little bit on my, and I usually use the gold sheets, the whole sheets. And but I did put a little bit here in one of my ATCs. The ATCs are going to be Egypt inside the door here, and I haven't done anything else with them. But I did outline it in gold, and I did put a little bit of gold inside. So I thought I'd do a couple more of those while we're waiting for everybody to come in. Hi, Keeks. Dee Dee, getting better. Thank you, but I get little spells is kind of overworked the other day. Okay, yeah, you usually stream long like me, Mary. You even sometimes stream even longer. So yeah. Well, you get better. Hope to see you stream over the weekend. Or Friday. I think it's Friday night, your next night or next time to stream. Hi, Keeks. Hi, Flo. How you doing? And by the way, guys, Barb, Chicken Pot Pie Society, she did say she was going to be away for a while. She said everything's okay, but she had stuff to do. I didn't, you know, pump her for information. But if y'all are missing Barbara Chicken Pot Pie Society, I always think of her and Flo kind of together, like they're sisters or something. But anyway, so Barbara said she will be away for a while. I don't know if that means a couple, 2, 3 weeks. I'm not sure how long, but just so y'all know, she is in touch. And yeah. So good to see you, Flo. So let me go. You were wondering where she was, and there's our Tina saying good morning to everybody as she comes in. Hello, Susie's Craft Room and Studio. I don't know if I follow you, Susie. I'll have to go look up your channel later. Oh, you probably you probably would, Flo. Tina saying hi to more people. Let's see. I think I've caught everybody so far. If I miss you, it's not on purpose. I do go back and scrub through my chat. Make sure you have all messages or live chat, all chat checked at the top. And that goes for when you watch replays as well. You have to physically go check all messages or all chat, whatever it says over your chat, because otherwise you won't see all of it. And that goes for the replays. Well, let me go ahead real quick. And how I did this first one, and you got to be kind of careful. It does can go cray. Just saying. Let's go ahead and do this one. So what I did is I just took a little bit of my art glitter glue, and you gotta make sure you keep these little tips clean, because, and you have to keep a pin in it. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit here, just a little bit, and let me put the pin back in. And then I just kind of rubbed it around. Well, this is quick drying. That's why I chose this glue, because it's quick drying. I know I'm not zoomed in. And then I just make sure that there's no wet glue on my fingers. And then carefully, because see, look, it's coming off the lid there. I'm just going to pick out a few little pieces here and just kind of lay them on where the glue is. And just kind of tap it down. And I'll probably go back and put some matte medium over this later. But I have some more things to put in the little doors. So I'm just going to, now let me close this up because, yeah. So you can see it's kind of loose there. And I just kind of rub it in. Then hold it over the trash and kind of tap it off to get any excess off there. So yeah, just added a little bit of gold on the inside there, and I already outlined the gold with the gold pen, the gold these markers. And then I have about three different brands. I don't care really what brand these are. Some smell worse than others, but anyway, so yeah, I got a couple of them done now on the inside with some gold. And then again, mine are going to be Egyptian themed, so I did get that set of Egyptian stamps, and I will be doing some more stuff in them. But that's the next step I thought I would do, is put some gold. Oh, and I put a little one of my little Tim Holtz stickers, the gold that glitters right there, or the gold that glittered. You know, mine's going to be ancient Egyptian. So if y'all aren't familiar with what I'm talking about for the ATC swap, look in my post tab or under Janet's post tab. And it's an ATC swap. Janet and I are hosting. You're going to send them to Janet. You're going to send 10. You'll get 9 back. The theme is passport. It can be any country, any place, anything you want, really, any place. And so I'm doing ancient Egyptian theme, and it's due May 30th. So you have plenty of time to get them to her. Thanks, Keeks. But it's a hard deadline. So y'all make sure, especially if you're international, that you send it a couple weeks ahead. So if you're international, you need to get crack-a-lacking. Thanks, geeks. So, yeah, so that's the ATC. So I'm not going to work on them today. I did work on them a little bit on Monday. When was it? Just this Monday that Denise was here? My gosh. Anyway, so she's played with some doing her set, and so she took them home to play, and so I can't show you any of hers, but she it's her first time ever doing artist trading cards, so she's going to do a set as well, and so yeah, I'm gonna put some gold in all these little doors. The little doors are Catherine Anderson book. You can get it on Amazon, and Catherine Anderson has all kinds of collage books, and she was really the first collage book person that I found before Collage Soup, before Pour Toast. So I have a lot of her books as well. Let me get a little rubber band to put around these. So these little doors are hers. So yeah. So, and I don't know who sent this. If anybody wants to fess up, I'll send you a thank you. So, yeah, I don't know who sent it, but yeah, it was fun to play with that. All right, let's see what I got here now. All right, so my idea for today was to, don't want the lights in there, but there we go. My idea today was to show you all the different kind of way, and y'all know I've done all these before. If you look in my color book playlist, you're going to find hundreds of videos, but I thought, well, I don't know if I've ever talked about all of them at once, and I'm probably not going to talk about all of them, but I'm going to get a chunk of them out. And so I pulled a whole bunch of the different ways you can color. I did pull out the Green Portraits 3 and Tina. It is thin paper. It's not as thin as some, but it's thin. It's copy paper, but maybe a little on the thicker side of copy paper. But it's Green Portraits 3 by Lana Green, and I think I have all three of her books. And there's not going to be any pages in here because I cut them out and put them in my binder, so I don't have any finished pages in here. I've already cut them out. But what I thought I would do is, and I probably need some cardstock. Let me get a couple sheets of that. Couple sheets of card. Uh-oh, come back here. To work on, especially like alcohol markers, it's going to bleed through. And I thought I would just cut out some different pages and I'm not going to finish them all today, obviously, but I would show a few steps with acrylic paints, watercolor pencils, maybe some water super tips or watercolor markers. Those are all under watercolor, like the Ecoline, which are these watercolor markers. So I'd show the acrylic paint, watercolor, and watercolor markers and different watercolor tools, pan pastels, acrylic markers, like alcohol markers, and plain pencils. And then also acrylic markers, Poscas, those kind of things, like, the Artex and the acrylic markers. These I use for details. I don't really color with them. For one thing, if you color with acrylic markers, you're going to cover up all the lines, which that's okay if you're really want to get in the detail, get rid of the lines and stuff. I use them for details, like particularly the Poscas. So, but I wanted to cover that too. What else did I have? I have a little note sheet. And so if you want to add all these different ideas for coloring, if you are a colorist, or even if you just do any kind of illustrations or anything like that, you can add this to your Society of Idea Collector notebook under color or under techniques or under supplies or under you can add them under a lot of different things. Hi, Riri. And I do want to color some of those chickens, Riri. So, oh my gosh, I love that chicken book. Riri sent me a black and white chicken book. So anyway, you love your Poscas? Yeah, I do too, but I don't color with them like, full on coloring sections. I use them for details. So, Let's see. Hi, Brenda. Who else am I missing? Um, Thanks everybody for being here. Did I acknowledge you, Terry Brett? Good morning. I said hi to Tori. Um, Put it in caps if you're talking to me, so I know that I glance over at the chat as often as I can. It's right over there, and I glance over there and look for anything in caps. Um, yeah, you use them for details. Yeah, Tina. So yeah, and if I miss you, I don't mean to. And if Tina, Kat, and Janet will answer questions, they pretty much know everything I do. Now, sometimes I'll put in links. They're never obligated to put links in. If they have a minute, if they feel like it, or they know right where to go to get a link for something, they will. But they're not obligated. All of us are perfectly capable of going in a search and looking for it ourselves. It's not hard. But sometimes they're nice that way. Well, Janet would say she's not nice, but she is nice. uh, did I no, this is not I got it's not a it's store bought. It's store bought. It's a store bought shirt. I hadn't worn it on stream, so and I did get some new shirts. Artie from I don't know if y'all know Artie on the Food Network. I follow her, and y'all know I don't really cook, but I like her on the Food Network, and I like the challenges like Guy Ferrer, Guy. His last name. She's usually a judge on there and different things. And I'll show you a picture. Hang on, I'll show you a picture of her. And I ordered her. She put out 4 new shirts, and y'all know I usually wear a lot of black and white, mostly black. But when I saw these shirts, and my daughter Annie is coming in from LA, and her husband Dan and Logan, my grandson Logan, they're coming in June to visit. We're going to go to the lake. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to get some new shirts to wear when they get here. So anyway, let me go ahead and look here and see if I can bring it up, if it'll be nice to me. And you can follow her. You can follow her on Instagram. There's her IG. Let me find a picture of her. Here she is. Here she's talking here. I won't put her on there, but that's Artie from the Food Network. And that's one of the shirts right there. So she had 4 new shirts, and I bought them. I did post it on Instagram. I did post the picture of the shirts. Here they are. So there's the 4 shirts that she put out, her new line there. And I liked all of them so much, I got all 4 of them. So I did take a picture of them because I wanted to shout them out because they're adorable. They're all long sleeve too. They're long sleeve, but you can roll up the sleeves. They're cotton shirts, And so yeah, I got those. But this is just a t-shirt, Let's see. Let's see, what did Tina say? It was a real effort for me to change up my wardrobe. I know. And for me, wearing black is just easy. I don't go a lot of places. I just, it's just easy. And I just wear a lot of black. But I've decided now I'll probably wear those shirts a lot in the summer, like open with a tank under it, a tank top under them, and the shirts open, like not jackets, but over shirts, over some tanks in the summer. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Let's see. They are colorful. Hi, Cindy Daly. CK. Let's see who else am I missing. I'll try to buy only cotton around. Yeah, these are nice. They're really nice shirts. So, okay, so there we go on that shout out. Now, so let's go ahead and again, I am just going to color bits and parts of pages, and I will put a little post-it note on what I used so that when I go back to finish them, I can know what I use. Not that it really matters because you know me, I'll do whatever. So let me pick out a few. Let's just pick out a few here. Like I like this one, and I'll try to decide which thing I want to color it with. You know, after I color these, I put them in a in my oops, I didn't quite cut that one all the way. I put them in sleeves and in my 3-ring binder of color book pages. So I cut that one a little. It's not going to matter because I trim them down and put them on black cardstock when I'm done. But let's see how many I do want to get. I do want to do an acrylic, a watercolor, a pan pastel, alcohol, and a plain. So, and on the watercolor one, I'll probably show watercolors, watercolor markers, you know, like these, Ecoline or something like that. So I think I'm going to get 5. I'm going to pull 5 different ones. So there's one, and I'm just going to see what attracts me. I like her. She'd be good for an alcohol marker because skin is always good with alcohol markers. Okay, maybe I'll do that on her. Let's see, there's 2. I don't want anything too detailed because, you know, obviously I'm not going to finish any of them today. But I'll give some samples and I'll zoom in and stuff as we go. There's 3. Let's see. That might be a good one. The flower. And then the other girl behind her. Okay. 4, and we'll do her. We'll do her pan pastel. Maybe we'll start with pan pastel. And again, I don't care about the torn edges because I'm going to trim that down. I'll trim those down and mount them on black cardstock as I'm done. All right, so let's just go ahead and make a little room here. I did a thumbnail, so that's why everything's sitting out here. So move my... All right, so if I start with pan pastels, I can get that off the table because they take up a lot of room. And I got my little pan pastel tool tray here. And I only pulled out 1 pan pastel tray. I may need another one, but like I said, I'm just going to do samples. I have all my trays behind me. And they have new colors that have come out, but Blick is out of stock in them. But I'll probably order the what do you call it set, the additional set. It's called something like that. It's not additional set, but it's a new set of about 50 colors since Golden bought out pan pastel. There's like 50 new colors, and I'll probably get them when Blick gets them back in stock. I think they said in May. I'll throw some. Aw, thanks, Riri. Hi, Joyce Boring, Fritchie, Becky Hernandez. Anybody else I might have missed? Thanks for being here. So let me go ahead and move the watercolors over here with these watercolors for a hot minute and my acrylic paints there. And we'll work with the pan pastels. This is probably enough to get me started to show y'all. Now I am going to zoom in so we can have a little bit closer work. I do have, these are my tools for pan pastels. And I do people and pet portraits. And I use pan pastels and color pencils. And of course, you got to spray pan pastels. You have to fixative them. Just saying, you have to fixative them. Do not use a gloss. Just use a matte spray fixative. And so I have all the different little tools here with pan pastels. The little soft tips. And they come in different sizes. And you only have to buy the handles like once. That one's how they wear out there. They have different, I think there's 4 different size handles, and then you just buy the little replacement tips. These are not, and they also have these little ones that look like makeup brushes. They are not makeup brushes. And there's not sponges. They have this other kind like this material. They have this kind, which I've harped on it since Bridget was the owner of the pan pastels. Please make a palette. Make a palette about this big. Golden, if you're listening, make a palette about this big out of this material to work as a palette to blend on. I use these bigger ones for palettes. I don't use these because I'm not doing big paintings with this, like pastel paintings. I just use them for my portraits, people and pets. So I use these for my palettes to mix colors on. But it would be so nice to have a piece about that big, you know? But now I'm going to have to get some, what do you call it, baby wipes. Keep my hands clean here. So, but they haven't yet. And I did tell Golden, and I think they said that's a good idea or something because I follow them on Facebook. And I think they said it was a good idea, but I haven't seen it come out yet. Just saying. Extension set. That's what it is, B. Yes, thank you, B. The expansion, the expansion set. Yeah, I think they are. I'm gonna probably buy the expansion set. Now they're not cheap to buy sets. Just saying. You can buy them individually like this and then stack them like this. I like the trays because I like to have they come with a lid over them, and then you can use I have like the 4 main trays. They're not in any, these are not in order as they come. But anyway, so then I also use little electric eraser to get into details. A kneaded eraser. Kneaded eraser is great for cleaning up like backgrounds and areas that you want to clean up before you fixative. If y'all have questions, put them in caps. I'm trying to keep up. Did I say hi to you, Leona? Hi, Arlene. So those are some of the tools. These are refills for I think I have 3 different erasers here. I got a Derwent, a couple of I forget. Anyway, but these are the erasers. Let's see, what else do I have in here? They have different tools like this that are removable, little nibs like this for pastels. But again, they're not makeup sponges like you think. And makeup sponges do not work the same as these. I'm just telling you, I've tried. They are not the same. This material is way, way different, and I probably should put a fresh one on here. Way different than makeup, brush, makeup sponge material. Okay, you got to be careful with the small one because you can poke it through there. All right, so anyway, let's see. Is there anything else I need to say about these? There's all kinds of different sponges that you can get with the pan pastels. Again, mostly I use these for palette blenders and these different handles. Let's see. Thanks, Kat. Yeah, at Blick they were back ordered, so I did put myself on the list. Okay, so let me move this out of the way for a minute. And I'm not going to do a whole bunch, but I just kind of wanted to show you. The other thing that I want to stress for me when I'm using all different kinds of materials, pan pastels, watercolor, acrylic paints, watered down, alcohol markers, whatever I'm using, I inevitably also use pencils, and it's usually Prismacolor. I only pull Prismacolor pencils today and some watercolor pencils if I get to that with the watercolor stuff. But I always have my pencils at hand for details. So regardless of which thing you see me use, acrylic paints, watercolor stuff, pan pastels, alcohol markers, I'm going to be using pencils in there at the end or at some point. We'll save all pencils, like just doing an all pencil piece till the end, till the like number 5 or whatever. So I'm going to start with pan pastels though, because like I said, they're the messiest, or it's a big tray on my desk and I want to, move that along. So, and you want to have some baby wipes, keep your hands clean. And the other thing I always say, and I'm talking while I'm doing this with you guys. So it's probably not an issue if you're using pan pastels. If you're talking, you want to be careful not to spit. Not on purpose, you're not spitting on purpose, but when you're talking, you might, get some spittle on your page. If that happens, you better let it completely dry before you do anything, because, and I'm not going to spit, I'm not going to show y'all spit, but I will show you what happens. So let's just put a little, let's just put a little, did I get any on there? Let's just put a little water there. Okay. So let's just say you got a little bit of water on your piece. This is what happens. All right. See those dots? There's no getting those off. You cannot remove those. I've never found a way to get that off. You're going to have to incorporate that and make it freckles or something, because that ain't going away. So just make sure you don't spit on your piece when you're working with pan pastels. All right, let me move that one away for a minute. Let it dry. Let's get a fresh one here. All right, so, and I do need a blending sponge here. Okay. You'll be stuck with them dots. That's right, Tina. All right, so let's start with her. And again, I think I'm close enough. If you need me to zoom in more, I can. But I just kind of want to show y'all a little bit of work with different colors and how many things you can use for color to color with, and particularly color books. All right, so I'm going to mix up a couple of browns here. Let's see if you can see the colors, and a little bit of the lighter color, just to have a couple shades of brown here. And I'm going to start with, let's see, maybe I should zoom. If I zoom in now, you can't see the tools I'm working with. That's the only thing. If I get too zoomy, you can't see what I'm working with. Let's see, how's that looking? Is that looking okay? There we go. All right. So I'm going to just start by putting a little bit of the lighter brown all over the street. When did we start getting street sweepers in this neighborhood? And they come when I'm streaming. I mean, this is just kind of a new thing. I don't know. All right, so I'm just going to base this. Now, the nice thing about pan pastels, I'm putting a base coat on her. The nice thing about pan pastels is you can erase. So, and I'll show you that too. So I'm just going to show you different ways you can color. And again, it doesn't have to be a color book. It can be anything you're coloring. But I'm going to blend this out really nice. And you can start different ways. And sometimes I start different ways with the well, with anything really. Sometimes I start light to dark. Sometimes I go dark to light. So let's just get a shade on her face here. I think I'll just go ahead and go down her neck too. There we go. We'll just go that far with it. Then I'm going to pick up a little darker here, and I'll start doing some darker shading here. And you'll see I can pick the highlights out with an eraser. You'll see that in a minute. She'll have a little shadow up here under her headdress. Don't want to forget that ear. I just thought it might be fun to show the different kinds of ways that you can color. Again, her eyebrows will be dark too. And it's just so easy to blend with these tools. If you've ever used pan pastels. How many of y'all have used pan pastels? Raise your hand. Who's used pan pastels? Is it Arlene's birthday? Well, happy birthday, Arlene. I think yesterday I saw somewhere that yesterday was CB's birthday, I think. Janet? I think yesterday was CB's birthday. Well, happy birthday, Arlene. Hi, Angie. Who else am I missing? Um, Thanks everybody for being here. Well, happy birthday, Arlene. Happy birthday month. We all celebrate the whole month around here. So I'm going to show y'all how you can pick out the highlights here in a minute. So anybody else have used pan pastels? And in the eyes, I usually use pencil. Get in there because I like to shade the pupils, and nice highlights with a Posca pen. All right, so now I'm going to go back with a little bit of the lighter again and just kind of blend. And you can just keep layering as much as you want. That's the nice thing about pan pastels, is it's very forgiving. And pan pastels are not like regular pastels. I never liked pastel because I don't like the dryness of them. Pan pastels are not dry like chalk pastels are. They're a different something something. I'm not quite sure what, but all right, I'm gonna get a little bit. Let's get, because she's gonna have some color in. She's gonna have some, makeup and stuff. So just get a base coat in here. Maybe a little bit of, put a little color in her cheeks. And then go back and do a little more blend. All right, well, what I really want to show you on this now is how you get your highlights. So you can take a couple different, you can take your kneaded eraser, and depending on how small the area is, you can take your, so for instance, let's do some highlights on her lips here, for instance. See how you can erase it? And then you can kind of soften the edges where you've, and then maybe she'll have a little highlight on her chin. And again, I'm going to blend this out. I'm just going to put it there for a minute. And then maybe right under her eyebrows. Maybe a little on her forehead. I'll take a kneaded eraser here and just put a little bit of light there. Maybe soften that there. See how you can add the highlights by erasing? Now, after you spray it with a fixative, you're not going to be able to do that. Not like that. So you want to get your highlights and everything in there before you fixative it. You can add more on top of fixative, but to get back to almost the white of the paper, that's going to be really hard to do with after you fixative it. Okay, maybe she needs a little bit of, there's my little bit. Okay, maybe a little in the corner of her eye. Then you can just kind of soften it with the, okay, so you can see there's a start with pan pastels. Bye, Angie. Thanks for stopping in. All right. And then, like I said, I would always take pencils for the eyes and details. I'll do her eyes real quick. And oh, and another thing that, let me tell y'all this, another thing that I do with um, details like the Posca is also and do I have one? Oh, I think I took it in the other room. Let me go run and get my Sharpie pen. Hang on. Because I write with those as well. These are also like my journaling pens, but they're the best for because they don't bleed through. Sharpie pens, it has to be a pen. They don't bleed through and they're perfect for like pupils and eyelashes and stuff like that. All right, so let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit more while I'm doing her eyes, and then I lose clarity when I do this, but I think you'll be able to see. Okay. So I think, let's see, do I want her to have, I already had some nice purple. Let's give her purple eyes. Let's give her purple eyes. So let's see. Is that dark enough? Oh, I think this. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of dark purple, like under the shadow or like right under the eyelid. I'm going to give her nice purple eyes, lavender eyes. And then I'll take a light purple. I'll hold it up to the camera too. And just highlight the rest of her pupil. And then I always like to shade the eyes with a like a slate blue. And I should be sharpening these really. A little bit of slate blue for the shadows in the eye. It does make a difference when you add a little bit of shadow in the eyes. Okay, let me hold that up so you can see maybe. All right. Don't know if you can see that slate blue, but it's there. Then I like to, and of course I take much more time when I'm doing this. I'm just showing y'all, this is all about different ways to color. I'm not finishing a piece today. Let's see, I learned the hard way that Sharpie pens may move with any kind of wet sealer. I don't know. When I spray fixative with the Sharpies, they haven't moved. But I'm not adding a lot either, Arlene, so I'm not sure. So I'll just put a little bit of black in the eye, I mean the pupil, and then of course the iris is the color. And then I'll go ahead, and I always like to add extra, a little bit thicker. There goes the street sweeper again down the street. I like to add, I'll do, well, I've already added the pupil in that one, but I'll do one eye at a time so you can kind of see the difference, even though I've already done the pupil in that one. And then because color book pages, the black is not, the ink on the color book pages is not really black. It's like a dark gray. She needs a little bit of brown. So let me add a little bit of detail under there. So again, I always go in with pencil detail. And then white, Posca, highlight a little in the corner there. And I'll hold this up, and then you can see. It's a little too much. Let me make that a little smaller. Okay, hang on. All right, so there's one eye with makeup and one eye without makeup. She's a little bit, I kind of rubbed a little bit of the purple off here. Let's fix that. There we go. Okay. All right, now let me do the other eye. So this is one way to color, is with pan pastels. Again, you know, you can buy a skin set. Like I think there's 6 or 8 in a skin tone set that comes with all different browns and tans. And I don't know if it comes with the black. in a black and white, but it does have a nice skin tone set that you can get if you just wanted to start and see if you like. You can buy them all individually too. And then you could buy sets of like 6 or 8. I forget how many come in the smaller sets, but you could buy 6 or 8 just to see if you like it before you buy a bunch. You know what I mean? Before you spend a whole bunch of money on pan pastels and you're not sure if you're going to like them. Just get a few. Okay, highlight. There we go. All right. There we go. All right, so let me see if I'm missing anything. Hi, Butterfly. Who else am I missing? I just posted my 5. Oh, okay. Y'all make sure and check out Terry Brett 3 on Instagram. She does all the prompts and she does them so well and so funny. Oh, thank you, Kat. Let's see. I'm scrolling back, looking for caps to see if I missed anything. Did I say hi to you, Teresa Church? Good morning and happy birthday again, Arlene. Um, so I think I said hi to Cindy Daly. You have some pan pastel, Cindy? Thank you, Tina. All right, so that's all I'm going to do with the pan pastels. This will need to be sprayed. You can go over the pan pastels with pencil before you spray. So you can do that. But if you spray the pan pastel, you can go back and work with color pencil on top of the pan pastel and you don't have to respray. You don't have to spray color pencils. They're not gonna smear. Pan pastels will not, your color pencils are not gonna smear. Okay, so there we go. So again, this is just barely anything done yet to it. I just wanted to kind of show you, like I said, my purpose today is to show you different ways to color. I'm not going to finish pieces today, but you can kind of go back in. You can go back in with your pencils. And also you can do nostrils with your little Sharpie pen, and the corners of the mouth are always good, or sometimes inside between the lips. It's good to do a nice dark in there. There we go. That shows up good. Okay, so there's a pan pastel sample. Let's go to, okay. Any questions on the pan pastels? I really want to get to each item before the end of the show. So there we go with the pan pastels. I will put a little note on here. Not that I won't remember, but this will be easier if I have it written down. When I go to complete them. Okay, pan pastels. I'll hold them all up at the end of the show too. All right, so there's pan pastels. All right, so now I'm going to put the pan pastels away. Again, you can buy trays of these. Let's zoom out one more. You can buy trays of them, sets of them, earth tones, portrait sets. You can buy different sets of them, and you can buy them individually. Okay, so let me move this and all my pan pastel accoutrement off the table here. All right. Then, what fixative do you recommend? Okay, and I use, let me find it here. I like the Grumbacher or the Krylon workable fixative. The thing is, what you have to be careful of is make sure it's matte. And some of them, it's really hard to tell if it's matte. Like the Grumbacher one, They look exactly the same, except there's a little thing that says matte and a little thing that says uh, gloss. You make sure you buy matte, okay? But I'll use Krylon Workable Fixative or Grumbacher. They're not that. I didn't find that much of a difference. unless you use gloss, which I accidentally bought one time. So make sure you don't buy gloss. Okay, next, let's see here. I'm gonna check off my little list. We did pan pastels. All right, let's do alcohol markers. And again, y'all seen me do all these before, but I just thought I'd show a little bit of each. Okay, let's see. Which one of these girls do I want for alcohol markers? Maybe her. I don't know. No, maybe that one would be a good for watercolor. Let's see. Maybe this one. Okay. And again, I've not pulled my supplies like individual colors because I didn't know which things I was going to color. So, all right. You know what though? I think instead of alcohol markers first, I'll put some alcohol markers with this so I'll remember that this is what I want to do with this one. But I think I want to do acrylic paint next. Let's see which one. Let's just go with this one. I think we'll go with acrylic paint. And for those of y'all that missed it, I'm using pages out of the Green Portrait 3. And again, I'm not trying to finish pages. I just want to show y'all different ways to color book them. Okay. All right. So this one we will go with acrylic paint. And again, everything that I'm using will also include color pencils. It will also include color pencils either at the end, toward the end. Let's see. Let's brighten this back up a little bit. As I zoom in and out. Let's see. So weird when look 5 minutes ago. I couldn't find me. Well, I'm here. All right, let me move my pencils out of the way because pencils will always be part of it. All right. Let me see here. Let's make some stacks so I have some space. All right. All right. Acrylic paint. Let me get a little tray. All right. So acrylic paint, two different things that I do when I'm using acrylic paint on color book pages. One is a background where I don't water it down. And two is if I'm going over something, you water it down. If you don't water your acrylic paints down, you're going to cover up all the line work. All right, now I think I can zoom in one. Let's see. Okay. So let's do this one a little peachy baby here. We'll put down some coral pink. Not much, and maybe I'll get some black and white for testing stuff out here. Put a little white. The other thing too is I use when I'm doing color book pages, I use craft paint. I do use different kinds of paint, acrylic paint that's like artist grade, this like this in the tubes and stuff, different brands, Golden. I use all kinds of brands. When I'm doing like other paintings, if I'm doing something painting on wood, or which I don't really do that much anymore, or if I'm doing jelly printing, I'll use this or a combination. But when I'm doing color book pages, if you plan on using color pencil over the paint, you want to use matte craft paint. Now there's other, like Golden's got this flat matte acrylics out now. But if you use, and I can't speak for every single Golden color or every single color tube artist grade paints, but a lot of them have a sheen to them. And that sheen, which makes them a nice artist grade paint, resists colored pencils. So if you're going to color with color pencil, which I do on top of my color pages, then I recommend just using craft paint. Doesn't have to be Americana Deco art. I just like to have a good selection of colors, but it needs to be some kind of matte. Now, these do not say matte on them, but if they're a gloss or a metallic, like here, let's see. Like here's one that says metallics. There's ones that say satin, and there's ones that say gloss. Those will resist your color pencil. I really can't stress that enough, because if you want to use color pencils, like which I always do, over your acrylic paint, you're going to have matte paint. Did you color the same picture? This one, I don't know. I don't think it was this one. It was another color book that has these little babies, cherub little things in them. So it's just similar. I think, Tina. I think this is just similar. The other thing too is, like I said, if you want a black background or any color background, you can do a solid color. A couple different things that I want to show on the black and the white pencil, or what it's like here. I'll do it right here. Okay, I'll do it right here. I'm going to put down some black paint. Okay, I'm going to put some black paint. Now this has to be 100% dry before I can do the little test for you, but I want to show you this because it really stresses on what people think. Well, why do you want to put down a base of acrylic under your color pencil coloring book pages? Well, I'm going to show you, and I show it all the time, but I'll show it again. All right, let's move this over here so I'm not getting a little line on my page. I'll show you the background here in a minute. All right, so what I want to do is I will water down, and the reason you want to water down, again, water down your acrylic paint. Let's see, what brush do I want here? You want to water this down is because if you don't, you're going to cover up your line art. Okay. So I'm just going to do, again, this is going to be some base coats and stuff like this. And you might have to water it down a couple times to get it nice and thin. But this is just your base coat. Okay. Put it in caps. Hi, Sophia. Let's see, who else am I missing? And everyone, I changed my name. I'm Kate. Okay. Katie. Okay, I don't know which Katie. We have a few Katies, but hi, Sophia. We'll go by Sophia now. That's what you want to be. Mama Juju. Who else I might be missing? I said hi. Let's see. Did I say hi to you, Devin? Did you sneak in? Devin. And don't forget, guys, Devin comes on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. Oh, let's see. Scrolling. Okay. All right. So watered down acrylic paint. I'm just going to do, that's a little too dark. So I want to add, let's just add a little bit more white, and a little more water. And I just usually clean my brush off on a baby wipe as I'm going. Okay. So I'm going to put a base coat down. The other thing, especially on these are thin pages, you have to realize that when you're adding any kind of water to those papers, they will wrinkle and buckle some. Don't oversaturate, don't get too crazy with the water. And then let it dry. Let it dry in between if you want to add more layers. That way you won't be pilling. You won't pill, tear up. You won't tear up your paper if you add more to it, because it will pill, especially on these thin color book pages. Some are better, some color book pages are nice and thick and you can get away with a lot on them. And then some are really thin, like this one. And the more you rub and scrub and put water and paint on them, the more they are going to want to pill. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit more lips there. And then the rest I'll probably do with color pencil. Whoops, got a little carried away there. Okay. Now, when you heat it with the heat gun or just let it dry, it does flatten out some. And I don't ever have it. It's not so wrinkly or bubbly that it's horrible. But it can wrinkle some. And depending on how big of an area you color and get wet will depend on your wrinkles as well. But by the time you go over it with color pencil, it flattens out really nice. And dry the back, that helps flatten it out too. You need to make sure it's 100% dry before you go in there with pencil. If you go in there with your pencils while it's wet, you're going to just rip your paper, peel your paper. You got to make sure that that water is dry before you go in there. Now I'm going to do a couple different watercolor things here. No, that's going to be on the watercolors. Never mind. This is acrylic. I'm sorry. I'm 2 steps ahead in my brain. Okay, all right, Katie. Well, welcome, Sophia. Hi, Marguerite. Anybody else coming in? Hi, sister. All right, so I'm gonna just leave that. Now maybe I'll go in with a little bit of a green here for the leaves. Let's just get let's just get some kind of a moss green or something here. This is a new jar. Let me open it up here. Just so you can see a couple steps. It's not much different with watercolor, except for what I'm going to use other than the watercolors. But come on off there. There we go. As far as the watered down acrylic paint, but I'm going to show you what it does. All right, let's just go ahead and always make sure you shake up your acrylic paints really well because they can separate. All right, now I'm going to water that down right there. And I'm going to get some of this. And we'll just do these leaves. Now, you can still see the line art. You can still see the line art. Y'all stop it. They're hissing at each other. Oh my gosh. You can still see the line art because you watered it down. If you don't water it down, you're just going to cover up all the line art. Okay. So I'm just gonna do a few little. These are going to be some little sample pages. If y'all missed the title, it's how many ways can you color? We already did pan pastels. Here's my pan pastel sample. We did that. Now we're doing acrylic paint. Then we'll go into watercolor and then alcohol markers and whatever else we got over there on my list. Okay, so now I'm gonna hit this and get it dry. Okay, let me clean up my brush here. All right, so now I want to show you, let me hit that too. Hang on. And I have another little sample of this somewhere. I show it all the time. But the point of using acrylic paint as a base, especially if you want to do a big solid background, like I might want to paint this whole background dark green, like she's in a garden. I might want to do black with stars and planets and nebulas. But here we have let me get a black pencil to show you the difference. Okay, and there's white. Okay. So here's a black Prismacolor. Now let's say you have put, and it could be any color. I'm just using black because it shows up really well and very dramatic. Whatever color you use on the background, okay? If you wanted to have a black background and you were only using color pencils, First off, it'd take you a while to get the whole background nice and dark black. Okay, just some black Prismacolor. And then if you wanted to add some white detail, let me sharpen this a little. My pencils all need sharpening. Whether it be, okay, that broke. Hang on, I gotta empty my pencil sharpener out. It's packed full, which makes it not sharpen well. Okay. And this is really dramatic when you see it or try it. Okay. So now I got a white Prismacolor and I'm going to go over, let's just show you on the black pencil first. I'm going to do hard pressure. And this, I really am on a mat here. I really need to be on, some more paper here. Here we go. Hard pressure. This is white pencil over black pencil. There's no way that's going to be ever white again. I can't add stars or planets or shading or glows around anything or anything. Look at that. And this goes for regardless of the color, whether you're using yellow, pink, whatever color. Always make sure you clean the tip of your pencil off too if you use it over a darker color, because otherwise you're going to go on the face and you're going to end up with dark color somewhere. Now I'm going to go over the acrylic. Okay. First I'll do hard pressure. Look at that. Now I'll do light pressure. Do a glow. You cannot do this on top of pencil. So this is the trick with the acrylic paint. And y'all all know, you've seen me do it for years and years. But if you've never seen that done before, it's very dramatic. You cannot use light colors over. I mean, you can a little bit, but look, I hard pressured that. You like that? I always like that demo, Devin? Yeah. But look at what you can do with acrylic paint. And that's also if you're using even just acrylic wash, a wash of acrylic. Okay, so which is what I did here. I'm going to move this out of the way. Find a place for it here. And now I'll go in here with color pencils. Let me sharpen. I don't have a lot of colors up here on my desk. Let me get a few colors up here. This is how I store my Prismacolors in use. I have other ones that are in cases and stuff, but the ones I'm using, I try to keep them red, yellow, orange, pinks, purples, greens, blues. I try to kind of keep them separate. And then all my neutrals over here and shading. I do try to keep them sort of separate, but they do get a little messed up. But I go through them every now and then and resort them. Let's get a nice olive green here. There's an olive green. That's a same. Let's get a darker. Let's just go with these two. Let's just go with this. It's just as a demo. Okay. Let me get a sip of my lemon water. And I always say, Chris, CK, I am not a teacher. Teachers, and again, I always say this, not that you can't learn anything from me or I can't show you anything, but teachers are very, I find good teachers anyway, are patient, very step-by-step, very, they have skills that I don't feel like I have, although I've got a little better at it, but I don't feel like I'm a teacher. I demo things and can show you lots of things. But if I had to sit here and show you every number, tell you the name off each pencil, But a teacher would do that. A teacher would go, okay, pull out your number 913, spring green, Prismacolor. You know what I mean? I'm not that patient. All right, so I'm going to take my dark green, and I'm going to just start and this may be the same way I would start with just using color pencil. Okay, but I'm going to go over light pressure here, very light, especially colored pencils, you want to start very light because you want to layer. Some pencils layer better than others. I love my Prismacolors. Prismacolors layer and blend amazing. And plus, I've used them for 50 more or plus years. So I'm just familiar with them, you know. I just know them well because I've used them for so many years. But I like those Woomers. Those Woomers I was impressed with. I like my Holbees, my Pollys, my Loomies. I like them all, but I have a tendency to go back to Prismacolors unless it's a special something something. You know, sometimes I'll use the other ones on portraits and things like that. But all right, so just so you can see, I'm just kind of going in here with some dark darks. But it's just going right over my acrylic paint. So nice. And then you've already got oh, let me go ahead and we're going to zoom in during close-ups here. Okay, let's get the brightness down a little. There we go. And so they just glide over the acrylic paints. Okay, so I'm just going to throw a little color in there. All right, then I'll take my medium and then I'll go over the dark and then blend it down. So you're like layering over every color gets layered over, so to speak. But you've already got a base of acrylic paint down, and it just makes your, and not that you have to go fast, not that you got to speed through your coloring or anything like that. I do go way faster on stream than I do in person, but it does give you a sense of accomplishment when you get so much done with a base coat, you know. In your demos, you stress the voice, the important detail. Okay, well, good. Thanks, CK. Appreciate that. Coming from a true teacher. If y'all don't know, Chris is a teacher in Mexico, and I think she teaches art and English, and she probably teaches a lot of things, knowing her skill set. She probably teaches a lot of different things, but she is a teacher in Mexico, and she has a YouTube channel. Let me click on her. So follow Chris on YouTube. Let's see, who else am I missing? I'm probably missing people because, you know, I'm trying to stay focused, and excuse the voice. I probably need to take a bite of banana. All right, so you can just kind of see how kind of quickly. And then you just keep shading and blending and shading and blending. Y'all know coloring. And like I said, I have hundreds of color book videos on my playlist. So you can see ways that I've colored with all these things in more detail. All right, now I'm going to take the light kind of, what is this one? Spring green? Spring green. And then I can get in here and add some nice brightness to them. The other thing that I love about that, what I use when I'm coloring, and I almost always do, is white Posca. I use other Poscas too, but I'll show you the benefit. If you only can buy one Posca, buy a white one, because what you can do with the white Posca is go over your color pencil, and let's just do some veining here. Let's just do some veining. And it looks sometimes it looks really stark and white. In some places you might want to leave it white. But most of the time what you're going to do is, after it dries, let's just go a few other areas here. After it dries, and sometimes you gotta, you're picking up some wax off the color pencil, so you're gonna have to come over here and, pump it and get it a little cleaned off. But I'm just kind of skimming the surface of what I've colored. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna let that dry for just a second while I take a bite of banana, and then I'll show you what happens, what you can do when you put white when you put white Posca over your acrylic or over your pencil and acrylic. Okay, Arlene, have a happy birthday. Have a happy birthday month. Who else am I missing? And I'm making little check marks next to the ones that I'm showing you. All right, that's probably dry, but just to make sure, let me go ahead and hit it with the heat gun. So what you can do after you have put the white down with the Posca, I really need a board under here so I can hold it up. Let's see, do I have one handy? Yeah, I do. I have a board handy. Let's put this on the board. Is then I'll take the light or even a lighter. Let's take a real light green. And I'll hold it up and I'll go over that white Posca, and the vibrancy of the Posca will still show through, but you're going over it and you're getting a light green, in this case green, but it can be any color, whatever color you're working with. So you see the difference where I've gone over it with the light green and here's the white. So you can get rid of the white, but still keep that vibrancy. But you have to make sure the Posca is dry. If the Posca is not dry, you're going to just peel it up. It's just going to come right up. So you got to make sure the Posca is dry, and then just go right over the Posca, and then you'll have those nice, vibrant highlights that you couldn't get with just going over it with this lime green. You just won't get that same vibrancy. But you see how you can still see the white Posca underneath of the green? Okay, so, and I didn't get much done on her face or anything. Maybe I'll get a little, let's get a little, just clay rose. We'll do just a little bit of something on here. I really like henna. Like, henna is a good, let me find, is this my henna? This one is the baby, or the beige. Beige rose. But I like henna. Henna's a good shadow color. Is this henna? Nectar, not henna. Well, henna's good for the next shadow down. Let's see if I can find it. Where are you, henna? Is that you? Yeah. Okay, so these colors right here. This one is nectar, beige rose, and this is henna. Henna's the one I was really looking for the shadows. A little shadow under here. And again, you just blend, you go over the acrylic paint almost just like it wasn't you're just blending it in as a undercolor, that it doesn't really change your pencil except like this. But you're going to just go right over it like it's nothing, like it's not even there. But it gives you a base to work on, and it's just nice and smooth. It's not going to, you're going to still be able to do your color pencil right over it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I never use blenders. I tried to get back into I've never really used blenders. I've tried to use blenders a few times, and the blender that I found that worked the best was the Luminance blender. But I don't really like blenders that much. I just like blending with pencil, and I can blend out with white. or, I just don't use blenders. So, but a lot of people do, I think. And I've never liked using any kind of liquid blender. Like some people have used baby oil and some people have used, I got some sitting around here somewhere, like not linseed oil, but stuff like, liquids to blend with, to break down the wax in the pencils to blend it. No, I'm not in for that. Oh, let me get a light peach color. What's my light one here? Here we go. This is seashell pink. And then if I want a nice little highlight on there, I just take my Posca, put down a little, I got to get it going again over here. Put some down and then just do a little smear. Just do a little mush. See how that gave that just a little bit of highlight on our skin? Oh, Dee, I've been watching you for 10 years. Katie, I won't remember you. I won't remember later that you want Sophie is Katie. I won't remember later. I use people's names as they put them up there because I figure that's what they're going to want. I won't remember. I might, but I can't promise you I'll remember. All right, so there we go. See just that little bit of highlight right there on her arm. A little bit. There we go. So this one is acrylic paint and pencil. Let me write acrylic paint plus pencil. And I'll keep it with this because this really shows the tool as something special when you use acrylic paint as your background or as a base. Either way, you can use it as a base or as the background. Now, again, if you use the background, you can use it as a solid, like solid dark green, solid moss green, and just paint it flat. And when I do a background where I just want it flat, I do not put any water in it. Now, you can put water in it and make it all splotchy, like a watercolor effect or look if you want to. Most of the time, I just like a flat background, but you can add extra textures and tricks and tips, with it too. All right, let's see. Let me go back in here with this color here, and I'm just going to do a little bit more on the face. If you have questions, put it in caps. And I'd want to give them nice rosy cheeks, And you could just do this whole thing like I'm doing here with just only pencil. But when you have a base of acrylic, if you could feel that I have just a little bit of tooth, I have just a little bit of tooth from the acrylic paint. And thanks everybody for being here. I do go back and scrub through my chat to see who I might have missed. And if you have content on your creative channel, I will probably follow you. Okay, so just for a little quick little bit here, like I'd put a little highlight on the lip there, maybe a little bit on the cheeks, maybe a little on the chin, and a little bit on the tip of the nose. Probably a little on the forehead and on the eyelids. And you can always go back in with more pencil if you get too heavy-handed. Hi, Ego Brain. How you been? Hi, Anxiety Art Adventures. Laura. See, I remember sometimes people's names. So then you can put some more little highlights and stuff, like around the lips there, little baby lips. And then the black Sharpie pen might have some more extra little, dark on the eyelash area, in the little nostrils, and in the little bit on the lips there. And other places. Of course, you can keep blending and shading. This is a quick demo just to show you the different kinds of materials that you can use with your color book. Okay. All right. So there's acrylic paint and pencil. And we already did the pan pastels. So there's pan pastels. Okay. So there's 2 different ways. Next, we're going to show, what did I say we were going to do next? Markers. Okay. Let's do alcohol markers. All right, now we're going to zoom back out while we do the base, and then we'll zoom in when we do more details. Okay, what we're going to do, this one, what we're going to do with the alcohol markers. That one was going to be watercolor, and let's go with this one. Okay, so now we're going to do, and everything's got pencil added to it. I always add pencil. I always add pencil. So these are alcohols. I spell alcohol markers. Then we'll do watercolor at the end because I have more tools for watercolor. I got watercolor, and I'm not going to pull out the gouache, but you could use gouache too. But I'm going to show watercolor, watercolor markers, watercolor pencils, super tips, some different watercolor stuff, which will probably take the longest. So we'll do that one last. Okay, so alcohol markers plus pencils. Okay. Thank you, Tina. All right, let's move this to the side for a minute. Let me get me a fresh baby wipe. Try to keep my hands clean of paint and pastels and whatnot. All right, sip of lemon water. Do you spray this at the only thing I spray with the fixative is the pan pastels. Pan pastels. I especially would not spray watercolors. Like if I use watercolors or watercolor markers, I would not. I mean, I guess maybe there's a nice light way you can do it. I don't trust myself to not make it bleed, because watercolors will bleed when they get re-wet. Okay. So I don't spray. The only thing I spray is pan pastels. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I don't think I'm missing anything else. Okay, alcohol markers. Now, I did not pull colors, so let me pull a few skin tones here. Let's make sure I got some that work. That one's pretty working. Let's get let's see, an E00. This one might need to, this one needs to be, always need to, I just need to buy a new one of these. I have the refill of it, and I refill it all the time. Let's see, let's test out. This one's an Oh-Hoo-Hoo. That's too, this is what's weird about Copics, the Sketch, the Chows, they all have match, their lids match. Look how good that matches the color. And this, look at this. This is not anything near that same color. This Oh-Hoo-Hoo. So you always want to test your markers on a scratch piece of paper before just digging in on your, because they're not going to be the same. They are not going to be the same. That one's too dark. So let's see here. Let me go here. That's a little lighter. We'll go with these two and maybe one darker. Because again, this is just samples. I'm not trying to finish a whole thing. Let's see what this one looks like. That's kind of the same. I really want something a little darker. Let's go down here. Let's go down here. And I use, whoa. See, look at that. Look at that. That is not anywhere near the same color. So you always got to test. All right, let's test this one. All right, that's a little better. All right, so I just want to just do a quick skin tone thing here. All right, so these are alcohol markers, and we'll do pencils. What I usually do, even with my alcohol coloring, is I'm going to color all the skin a base color. And again, see, this needs to be refilled. Where's my refill? Where is it? Hang on. This one is the E. Yeah, E00. Where's my E? Okay, here. Let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and refill this. I just need to buy a new E00 and an E000 because I think they're just really getting, I just need to buy new ones. Even though I have the refill. Let me just go ahead and refill this real quick. Hi, Dot. Anybody else coming in? Jane? I'm just showing different ways to color today. Different mediums to use. All right, let's see here. All right, that might be enough. All right, so I just want to, again, I'm going to just do a quick, yeah, this one's not working. I mean, it's working, but the nib is really bad. But I'm gonna make it work because it's a quick demo. And I'll do her eye too, her eyes. All right. Okay. And the trick with alcohol markers really is keeping a wet edge. If it starts to dry, you can go back over it with the lighter or the dark, you can mix it. But to blend your alcohol markers, that I have found, and I'm no expert at it, but I found that the trick to it is to keep a wet edge. So like while that's wet right there, oh, I should be zoomed in. I forgot. We're going to zoom in when we're doing the detail. Is to then go in and blend while it's wet. See how that just blends right together? And it's because the wet edge blends it nicely. And again, you take your time. I am rushing through this to show you as many different things as possible. Okay. And then we can also go in with a little bit even darker areas. Making sure it's not Janet. It's not. Okay. So alcohol markers is another way that you can color. It looks yellower on screen. It's much more pink in person. Oh, that's weird. That's showing that the wrong. It's really a completely different color. But you still see the shading. Bye, Sophie. Thanks for coming in, Katie. All right, so I'm going to grab these same color pencils that I was using earlier. And the henna. So I'll just go in here and just kind of blend in some extra details. I don't have to do as much details with the pencils when I go over alcohol markers because alcohol markers have blended out so much already. But what's nice about the pencils is they're you can get in there with a tiny, tiny little tip. Okay. We'll give her some green eyes. Okay, let's see here. Do a little blend. Let's go ahead and do here the rest of her neck. Now you can't, after you've done your pencil, the alcohol markers is not going to, you go over that, it's not going to blend. It's not going to blend anything like your pencil. Your alcohol markers aren't going to blend your pencil. And, you know, it's not. Okay. Let's see. I got these greens right here. So let's go ahead and do green. Let's give her green eyes. And again, I will use a blue, what do I do with it? What did it roll off? Here it is. A blue shadow. Okay, and then my black Sharpie pen for the pupils, eyelashes, and depending on the color of her hair, I won't do her eyebrows now because I don't know what color her hair is going to be. So we're going to do her pupils, some eyelashes, lightly. Maybe a couple on the bottom there. And then a highlight with the Posca. There we go. That's a little big. That after that dot dries, I'll go in with the green and make it just a little smaller. That highlight, it's a little big in that eye. It should be smaller. So there you go. You can kind of see. And again, if I want to add any kind of highlight, I can go in here with the Posca and add a few little highlights. Maybe her lips. Okay. All right, let's see. Do I have any questions on any of this? So that's alcohol markers and pencil. You know, it's just a start. You know, I want to give samples to you. Oh, and birds, a good highlight. All right, let me, do I want to, no, I don't want to do it on this one. If this was, if I hadn't just decided I was going to only do one thing other than plus pencil, I would do this bird in a wash of black acrylic and go over it with the for highlights, the blue, the slate blue makes perfect highlights for black hair, black bird, you know, black dogs, black birds. Oh, hi, John. How you doing? Oh, John. Oh my gosh. What are we going to do with our Oak Island, John? What are we going to do? We're going to Malta, John. We're going to Malta. Oh my God. Oh, thanks, View and High View. Yes, there we go. Road trip to Malta. I'll go. I'll make sure and go get over there tonight to see what you and Judy have to say. Mm. But it's always good to see you, John. John and I support each other's channels. Oh my gosh, it's. I don't know what can we say, John. The pain is almost over. I mean, even the brothers are getting a little like, I don't know, you know, they're at least they're acting like it. Maybe they just know how much more seasons are going to do, you know, but I don't know, John. I don't know. But thanks for stopping in. Oh my gosh. Who else am I missing? Hi, Jada. What markers and pens? I've been going through. I've already told Jada. I've been doing it as I go, so you'll have to just go back and watch. Okay, I can't repeat the whole thing. We've already done this one. We've done pan pastels. We've done acrylic paint. So you'll have to go back and watch. And now we're moving into watercolor. Okay, I need another. I need another piece of cardstock. Oh my gosh, John, I don't know. We laugh about it, but what are you gonna do? We've been watching it since day one. Yeah, yeah, it is all about the money. They're making as long as they keep making money, then they'll keep doing the show. I mean, they're going to Malta. They got to have some money for that, right? Oh my gosh. Thanks, John. I appreciate you supporting the channel. All right. See you later. All right, now we're going to do watercolor. Let's put that down. We're going to do watercolor and pencil. And today, Jetta, I'm just using Prismacolor, but I've talked about the different ones that I use. But today I'm using Prismacolor, plus whatever else we're doing. Okay. Show the back of the, oh, yes, for sure. Alcohol marker bleeds right through. So you always want to make sure, see, look, it even got a little bit here. You always want to make sure that you have something behind your alcohol markers. Alcohol markers will bleed through. The acrylic paint did not, let me go back over and show you the backs here. Acrylic paint wrinkles a little, and so will the watercolor, but look at it from the front. Now I got lemon water hiccups. It's really not that wrinkly, especially when you go over it with pencil. It flattens it out, I'm telling you. So there's acrylic paint, alcohol markers, pan pastels, and now we're going into watercolor pencils and pencils. So let me put watercolor. Where's my black? Watercolor and pen. I'll just say pens, markers, anything watercolor. All things watercolor plus Prisma pencils. Okay. I know you can't read that, but I can. All right. Then I got one left. And for those y'all missed it, we are coloring out a Green Portraits 3. I've just removed pages out of it, and that's what we're coloring. Okay. So on this one, I'm going to use different things. All right, let me put away the alcohol markers now, because we're kind of done with that for right this minute, and they're just kind of in my way. So let's just put them back up here for now. There we go. Okay. I'll leave the pencils out because we're still going to use pencils, and we're still going to use my Posca. What else do we have here? Where's my Posca? Where'd I put it? Where'd my Posca go? Here it is. Okay. Let's see. Oh, you're welcome, Devin. Yeah, that's a good point, how it does bleed through. You always want to, especially if you're coloring with thin pages in a color book and you're not taking them out. I cut them out, the thin ones like this, and I trim them down, mount them on black cardstock, and then they go in my 3-ring binder. If we have time, and again, I always say this, but then if people don't remind me, then I forget to do it. I can show you what I have in my binder, which will show different. Let me just go get it. I won't show the binder yet, but I'll bring it out so I can show it because that's good samples. Okay. And oh my gosh, I just noticed something. I think it was Tina. No. Okay, no. That's for Green Portraits number 5. I was going to say, oh my gosh, Tina said, did you color that already? And I said, no, it's something similar, but I have green portraits number 5 too. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, and a 5. I don't think I have 4 for some reason. But anyway, all right. So let's go ahead and do some watercolor, and then I will show the my binder with other, different techniques. Let's see, Christy. Thanks everybody again for being here. All right, so I just pulled the Gambi Tanzai Art Nouveau set, which I've barely used. But I thought since I've barely used it, let's go ahead and pull this and use it. This is what it looks like when you see it on don't yell at me, Janet. This is what it looks like when you order it. You can get it off Amazon. It is from Japan. Everything's in Japanese. All right, so let's see. I'll use my watercolor brush. We'll just use a watercolor brush. Okay, so now let's see how I want to get this in camera and focus. All right, we'll go ahead. I'll just leave it right here until I start doing detail. Yes, I know, me too. But you can use, all kinds of watercolor. So what I pulled today for watercolor is I pulled this set. I'm going to pull a little piece of plastic to show you how you can also use marker, watercolor. These are the Ecoline brush pen water. This is actual watercolor in here. And so I'm going to show you how you can use those maybe on another area. I've got all the colors out here. I'll just show you and I don't have every color of Ecoline. They're not cheapy. None of these are really, off the wall. I guess Pan Pastel is probably the most expensive of anything I've shown. But these are the Ecoline, and they're watercolor brush pens. But they're actual watercolor. As opposed to, which you can still use this too, to a more limited extent. Let's see. Let's maybe a pink or something here. I'll just pull this little. To Super Tip, Crayola Super Tips. You can use these as watercolor too with the little plastic. I'll show you that here as well. What else did I pick for? Let me put the acrylic paints away so I have some more space. Everything's really right here in front of me. So, all right. There was something else that I had. Oh, watercolor pencils. And I got these not too long ago, and I have not really played with them. The Artisto watercolor pencil 72 set. So we might play a little bit with these. Again, I took them out of that, wobbly plastic trays. I can't stand those things. So we'll play with the watercolor pencils a little bit too. So under watercolor, we've got watercolor paints, watercolor paint in a marker, just water-based markers, and watercolor pencils. Okay, watercolor pencils. Plus, never underestimate my Prismacolors. Hi, Lisa. Anybody else coming in? And then again, I also brought up, that Poscas and acrylic, which haven't really done much with these today. Acrylic markers. These are acrylic paint in a marker. I use these kind of things if I use them in a color book. I mean, I can use them in other illustration work as well. But if I'm using them in a color book, it's for details. Because acrylic markers, and that includes Poscas, if you go over the line art, you are blocking out the line art. It covers it up. These are acrylic paints in marker. Okay. Again, I would use these as details, not as a base or coloring, because you're going to try to color in between every one of those hairs. There's too many other options. Too many other options to use. All right, so let's go ahead and just whatever colors I start with here. Let's maybe do Let's do, it's going to look a little green, but I'm going to go ahead and do her hair this kind of color here. And I really need a palette. Let's just see here. I can use this as a palette. I need just to be able to water it down here. Put it on a palette first. I have palettes all over the place. They're up under there. I didn't pull any today. So we'll just go ahead and with this. So I'm just going to watercolor her hair. You really want to use a palette, not just go like straight to it. You can if you're only going to stick, but it's better to go onto a palette and then onto your piece. It will wrinkle some because it is watercolor. Again, by the time you add any pencil or other detail, it flattens out fairly well. And these are pretty thin. These are pretty thin papers. You don't want to oversaturate the paper, though, because it will pill or tear up. It'll tear up if you oversaturate it. It's better to let it dry and then add another layer, okay? Layer it up. Yeah, I did mention using Woomer pencils. They're not color pencils, the Woomers. They're just kind of like a Prismacolor, and I really like those. I did mention those earlier, but I'm not using them today. I'm just using Prismacolor. But yeah, the Woomers are good for if you're new to color pencils and you can't afford even Prismacolors, which the Prismacolors are on the medium side of price. Woomers, I found they're really good. I was impressed with the Woomers. Now, if you want to know if they're fade proof, all that. I mean, I don't think, and if you watch Sarah Renee Clark do her review on the light fastness of all these supplies, she has like I don't know, 2 hour, maybe 3. I don't remember, but I did watch it. Video on all the supplies. Your best bet is keep it out of the sunlight. Like she said, if you want to keep the original perfect and pristine and never fade, let me put that right there, never fade, then you want to make some prints and hang up the prints and put the original away if you don't ever want it to fade, because everything is going to fade. Like, nothing's 100% light fast. Yeah, none of them are, Tina. If y'all want to see an exhaustive, in a good way, light fastness tests of all the pencils and markers and stuff, go watch Sarah Renee Clark. She's the one that I bought the what do you call it? The color cubes. She's the inventor of the color cubes box sets. Okay. So, yeah. All right. So there's a nice little coat of light yellow on there. I don't know if I make her a redhead, then I can go in here with the sienna and stuff. And these come out, by the way. You can take these out in little individual trays. I just leave them in there, but you can. If you take them out, they do have, like, this is saffron yellow, number 404. So you can see right there, it says 404 on there. So you know where this goes back. Not that unless you're Japanese, you're not going to read it anyway. So, but they do come out. And that's true of their other set here. I have the, hang on. I have the, Janet's going to scream. I have this set, the original set, which is more used. So there's my original set. But I haven't used this Art Nouveau set for a while, or not very much. So, and then I also just have water. I did take, for those of y'all were back when I did this, and Janet's done it too. We took out all of our Jane Davenport and our Prima, and there was a third brand too. All that came in the little tins. Jane had a gold set, a light teal, a dark teal, Prima has a whole bunch of little black tins. And anyway, I think we both had 20 different tins. So we both did this. We took out all out of all those tins, and we both got. I think got the Mead sets too, Mead tins, and we redid our watercolors. I got cool and warm, so we redid our watercolor sets. These are all the Jane Davenport, the Prima, the something else. Anyway, there was like three different kinds of these. They're all pretty much the same sets, but in different tins. So we did this. So I have all my, and look how neat and clean this one is, Janet, because I'm really careful when I've been using this. Now, what I do is I wipe these out when I'm done. I use these for the blending or mixing, and then I clean them out with baby wipes when I'm done. So they stay really clean. But anyway, so I have these watercolor sets like this. But I just thought I have not used this for a while, so I pulled. All right, so let's go back to this. Okay, where's my brush? What did I do? Oh, here. Okay, so now that's still, if it's cold to the touch, it's still damp. So if you touch it and it's cold, it is not dry. So you want to dry it or wait, whichever, if you don't have a heat tool or whatever, you want to dry it. Shockingly clean, Tina, right? I see y'all's comments over there. All right, so now I'm going to go in with, and I'm going to just use different things here because, like I said, I'm going to use watercolors. I'm going to go in here maybe with some, well, maybe down in here or up in here in the flower. I'll use the watercolor, Ecoline brush watercolors, just so you can see different things. All right, so now I'm going to just take. I'm going to take some of the sienna, and what are they calling this one? They're calling that Mars yellow. Okay. So I'm going to put some of this down on it's on a little piece of plastic instead of a palette, which I could get out a palette too, but I'm just got this out for now because these are just quick little demos. All right. So now what I'm going to do is just go in here and I'm going to put in some of the shading. And I keep my baby wipe handy so I can clean it off and then blend it out. Or I can go in here with some more of the light lemony yellow and blend in. Remember, when you're on these color book pages, this is thin paper. You want to dry in between layers or you're going to be peeling this paper up because it's just like adding water to copy paper, right? Or maybe one step up from copy paper. So, be careful. But I like using different materials in my color books. So, and if you're afraid that you're going to get too many layers of watercolor and it's going to tear, then let it dry and go in with your Prismacolor or Woomers or, go in with your pencils. So I'm just trying not to over saturate because it will go through. Has it gone through yet? See, I got it too wet. When it does this, I've added too much water. I've not let it dry enough. It's okay, but you got to be careful or you're going to tear. You're going to tear your paper. So it's best not to over saturate these thin papers. Tina does not like thin papers. Cleaning my brush, blending it out. Okay, I won't do her whole, but I will make a note to myself that this is Kuretake, Art Nouveau, OUV, Art Nouveau, watercolors. Okay, as a base. And then another nice thing about just using a little palette like this, you can just take a baby wipe and just clean it off. This is nice. Then another thing that you can use other than watercolors is your super tips, Sharpie super tips. Cat and Paste doesn't like the thin paper either. Well, then y'all go sit in the corner together, Tina. You and Cat and Paste go sit in the corner. Hi, me, if I missed you. Let's see. Messy Palette, Australia. I said hi to Jane. Who else might be missing? Oh my gosh. You like that, Janet? All right, so let's see. Let's start with maybe this darker orange here to do these. Like this is like a leopard print or something. So what you can do with your super tips or I just like super tips, Sharpie super tips. They got a gazillion colors you can get 100 colors like for $10 and they last forever. I mean, I've rarely had any of these dry out or run out. I mean, I've had a couple, but I've probably bought 5 of the 100 set over the years, and I have almost all of them. They just do not run out, dry up. Of course, you can't buy them individually. You can buy bigger or smaller sets, but they're just Crayola super tips. They're called super tips because of this. Now, what I like about the super tips is, let me just go right here. Let me just write super tips. You can go fine line like that. You can get a medium tip, and you can also get a thick tip. So these are really good for like brush lettering. You can do like some brush lettering with them. So, all right. So I'm just going to put some down on here. And then with my water brush again, you can pick it up just like you do watercolor. And you can paint with it just like you can watercolor. So super tips are a great way, especially, if you want tons of colors and you want budget friendly. I'm telling you, can't go wrong with the Crayola super tips, right, Janet? So let me put out a little more. And this is just a piece of packaging. Again, I could layer it, make it darker, but let it dry in between. Let the watercolor or whatever water materials you're using dry. And then when it's dry, you can go back and add another layer and make it darker, just like you would watercolor, you'd layer it up. But this is not watercolor paper. So you have to be more conscious of the amount of water you put on it. That's the difference. Okay, I need a little bit more. Or when it dries, you can also go in with pencil. Your Prismacolor or whatever kind of pencil you want. Any pencil will go over watercolor and acrylic and pan pastel. The only thing with pan pastel, you do have to fixative pan pastel. Okay, now that looks kind of flashed out. Maybe I need to zoom in a little and maybe turn the brightness down just a little because it's a little flashed out. I always wonder why my water-based Tombows tear paper and the Faber-Castell Pitt markers don't. I think that, one's dye-based and probably moves with water better than the other one. Again, though, I'm not using just plain markers. Pitt and Tombows, like let me just pull a Tombow out here. Let me get an orange color one. Oh, that's not my Tombow. Hang on, let me find a Tombow. Do I have a Tombow handy? Where are my Tombows? I don't have my Tombows are not right handy. They're over there, Tina. But yeah, they're like more like if you're using an acrylic paint paint marker, you know. Let's see. I guess something to do with the nib. Oh, I don't know. It has to do with the nib. I don't think it has to do with the nib. I think it has to do with the ink because one I know one is a dye based. Hi CB and happy birthday yesterday CB. Thanks Tina. Happy birthday month. There's Cat and Paste. Cat and Paste, you and Tina are sitting in the corner right now. She drug you to the corner. She got you in trouble, Cat and Paste. So you can go sit with Tina. Oh my gosh, let's see. Okay, there we go. Thanks, Anne. Faber-Castell Pits are India ink. And then is it which one is it that's the dye based? The what do you call it? What we were just talking about. The other one is dye based. So, you know, they're going to be different with water. So, you know, you can test them out though. Test everything. You know, just test it out on a little piece of plastic. And let's make sure that's on the right side. No. So that's pretty dry now. So what you can do, let me move this out of the way. Let me put the lid back on this, the plastic rather. Move that to the side. Is you can also just go in with the super tip and put heavier color. Okay, you can put heavier color and it will blend, but be careful again because you're wetting down your paper a lot. Okay, so but if you want some shadows and some, you know, darker areas, you can just go in here with the pen itself, blend it out with the water a little bit. And I would recommend testing all your markers before you do a color book page. Test it on, you know, just test it on any kind of paper, you know, but so there you can see the difference with some wash, watercolor super tip wash. And just going straight in there. All right, let's see. Do I have any more comments? All right. So then the Eco line, let's see here. Let's see if we can clean. We're going to clean off our little thing here, our little plastic. And let me do, let's test out okay, Eco water. Okay. And this is what they look like. Eco line brush. And again, this is a light color, so I can probably get in here and just do a base pretty quick. But if I want it lighter, then I could go in and put it on the plastic here. Ooh, squeaky. And pick it up with the water brush and get in there. If I want it lighter, you know, than what I got right here on her neck. Oh, that is squeaky, isn't it? Let's go ahead and put some on there, though. Let's go ahead and put some in the shadows here. And then pick some up and blend it in. I am oversaturating this one. I'm not taking my time. You want to take your time and dry in between. Like right there, see how dark, how much water I got right there on her cheek right there? I need to let it dry. Or let me hit it with the heat gun. Need a little bit more right up here. Okay. So these are just watercolor. These are actual watercolor in a marker, and you can also get these in the little ink bottles. They're watercolor in ink bottles is what you can get these in as well. Okay, so I showed those earlier. There's the. All right, let me hit this with the heat gun. Then we'll do a little bit of pencil on it. Okay, let me clean this off here. Move this out of my way. I keep a couple of those little sheets just handy right there. All right, now I'll go in here with maybe some blue eyes. And let's see. And let's go ahead and do green because I got it sitting here. Oh, we're going to zoom in a little. Okay, I'm going to put green, dark green, light green. Then I'll show y'all all the samples again, and then I'll show y'all my book full of different pages that I've colored that I've cut out. See, I got that really wet. That was a mistake to get it too wet. But now y'all know, don't over saturate it. Okay, let's get her pupils in there, maybe a nostril or two, little extra lashes. And then some a little bit of shading with the skin tones that I picked earlier. Put a little white highlight in the corner here. Or white. Just lightens up the eyes there. Highlight. Maybe a little extra highlight. A little under the eyebrow. A little bit of blue shadow. Okay. I think she needs a little bit of. Okay. And of course, you can do more, skin blending and around the eyes and the hairline, everything, her whole face. We just started with the base of the watercolor. Lips. See if we can fix that cheek since we got it oversaturated. But anyway, all right. So there we go. That's some watercolor. Oh, I know what we didn't do. We didn't do watercolor pencils. We did pencils. We didn't do watercolor pencils. So let's do something with this flower. Let's get this bright orange, this bright pink, a bright yellow, and let's see what we can do with this. So let's just go ahead. And I'm not thinking of what the stamens are, probably a brown or something, or a magenta. I don't remember. On a what do you call it, lily. So I'm not doing this botanically correct. So just FYI, I'm just going to go ahead and do some watercolor pencils. And I've not used these much. I've only the Artisto watercolor pencils. So I'm just going to put some down here. I'm going to blend it out, kind of ignoring the stamens. We'll do the stamens separate or after this is dry. So we'll put some hot pink. Let me write that down, artiste here. Artisto watercolor pencils. Okay. All right, now the orange. Let's get some orange in here. I'm just scribbling some in, and we're going to hit it with the water brush and see what happens. The flower will not be colored botanically. Yes, Tina. I can look one. I could have looked one up, and if I was going to color this like, to finish, not just as a demo, but to finish, I probably would have looked it up to see the correct way that they, and then some yellow. Let's put a little yellow. We could leave a little light white on the edges if need be. All right, let's see how this blends out. All right, so there's 3 colors. Now let's start with the brush here. Let me move these. Let me put these down. And like I said, I took the trays. I took that cheap plastic floppy tray. I can't stand those things. All right, so now I'm going to just go ahead and start blending. And if my brush gets really full of like the magenta color, then I'll wipe it off so that I'm not just moving the magenta all the way to the edge, right? So I'm keeping the magenta kind of right there. Now I'm going to go in to the orange color. And I'm wiping off the excess so I can keep it light, so that when I get to the light, to the yellow out here, it'll be yellow and it won't be dark from the magenta blend. See, can y'all see how it's working? And then when it's dry, you have to let it dry or it's going to start peeling. It is water I'm adding here. Then I can go back in with, what did I do with it? Put it back in with the purple color and do the stamens and the dots. All right, let me go ahead and dry this real quick. All right, and these are they're a little rough, but what I'm going to try next, I'll show you what I'm going to try next. They're like a hard pencil. They feel like, when you use a polychromos or something, they're a little harder pencil. That's what these feel like. They feel, which is good for like what I'm doing right here. But so I'm not going to water this part down. I'm just going to use them as just a pencil, say like that. And then maybe I can go in here. Is this I don't know, is this supposed to be a tiger lily and it's supposed to be orange? I don't know. Mine's supposed to be an orange and yellow tiger lily. But I'm just going to put some of those dots in there. And you could also wet some of those dots down and make them kind of smear, like make them kind of like how they would look in the flower. Say, kind of like that. And you could probably go in there and just kind of blend a few of them around. But I want the stamens nice and dark. You like the Derwent Light Fast? I don't have any of the Derwent Light Fast pencils. I couldn't justify buying them, Tina, because I got the Holbeys, the Polys, the Lumies, the Prisma, the Spiders, the Woomers. I didn't need any more pencils. So anyway, let's go ahead and take maybe a darker, like a sienna. Let's see, where's that one? Like this kind of a sienna. Are they named? Kadesh red. And I'm going to just go ahead and put a little bit on some of these, what do you call it, leopard spots. I'm just going to put a little bit of color on some of the leopard spots, just to play. And then take my water brush and move that around. So see, you can play with your different water mediums together. They all play nice together, is what I'm trying to say. Whether it's a color pencil, a watercolor pencil, whether it's your Ecoline water brush markers, just plain old watercolors, your super tips, Let's see, let's get this nice dark orange in here. Let's put some of that right in the centers there. And not even add water, just put some of that color in there. And you can keep on blending and adding more. And, in a sense, if you're not adding any more water, you could keep on keeping on with the pencils, because it's the water that's going to peel and tear your paper. All right, so there we go. I think that's good, just for our demo. But it does wrinkle some, especially if you're not careful. Like I was not careful. I was not careful with her face. I was more careful with the hair and all this, but her face, I just went too cray. So these are the Artisto 72 watercolor pencils. And they weren't that expensive. So. And I also have the ink tints, which I don't love the ink tints, but I do have the full set of ink tints. Now I can go in here also and, blend out. I could fix some of this so she doesn't look like she's wrinkled. I can fix some of that too with more pencil. The more, if you use the pencil will flatten out your paper. Not 100%, but it will flatten it out a lot. Just FYI. And this was just a quick demo. I did not finish her hair at all. You can get in there and do more. I probably should do that with sienna color here. But continue to shade and blend and whatever. Okay, and Keek said Crayola watercolor. I don't think I have any. I have Crayola pencils, but I don't think I have any Crayola watercolor pencils. Like I said, I have the super tip watercolor markers, All right, so there we go. There's that. And again, let's take a little Posca, maybe do a little extra something here. Okay. All right, so there we go. There's the watercolor. So let me show them all to you again, then I will get out my notebook. All right, let's back up one. Okay, so this is watercolor stuff. Here is the pan pastels. Alcohol markers. Acrylic paint and pencil, but acrylic paint, and then I showed how the acrylic paint reacts to color pencil. So there's some acrylic paint and pencil. So there's my sample boards for today. And let me get my notebook here. Let me put this up here, and let me back out here. Okay, what was that? don't know what those were. Those are some other pencils. All right, let me back out one more. A 3-ring binder here. All right, let me just kind of pick a couple things up here out of my way. Don't look at my water holder, Janet. Oh my goodness. Janet and I tease each other, guys. Just saying. All right, let's put that up there. All right. So today we use the Green Portraits 3. That's the book I colored out of today. But I also have, and this just happened to be in with my stack because we probably have some samples in here. Green Portraits 5. Do I have, here, see, we did a sample here. Oh, I think it was to show the gold. So that was a Green Portraits 5 sample thing there. All right, so let's put that to the side. And I do have a bunch of other loose samples down here. I'll pick these up and bring them over here if we have time. All right, so let's see here. Gotta move this out of the way. All right, let's see here. Let's adjust the light. It's going to want to flare out and do all different kind of things. All right, let's see. I think we will zoom in one. All right, there we go. All right, so these are loose pages that I've colored and cut out of the book. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start by saying if it's an expensive $25 color book or something, or it's a whole fairy tale series hardcover book, I don't cut those out, okay? I don't cut out those. These are out of like the book I just did where they're thin, mostly copy paper thin. What is this? I think this is from Nini. Oh, no, I know what that is. Never mind. Okay. All right, so, and here we've done different tests. Here's another sheet that we did. Non-gesso, gessoed, different watercolor ink tints, different tests with things back sometime. This was years ago. That was way years ago, but I keep it in there. Okay, so here's one that we did kind of recently. This is a Christine Karen, and we did this one dimensional, which I rarely do dimensional ones where I actually glue flowers and stuff on. But we did this here a couple months ago, and we added the flowers. So, yeah, I need to trim it down, put it on black cardstock, and put it in the binder. So that's why it's just sitting here. It's just sitting here. Okay, so this one, I did give this book away. But I did color a few things out of it. This is another example of acrylic paint on the background with white color pencil, Prismacolor on top. See how I could do all that a little electrifying, Barkenstein. It's because this is acrylic paint. All that's acrylic paint. And because of the acrylic paint, I'm able to do that with the white color pencil. Okay. All right, so I'm going to flip through these. They're going to be a little dull looking because they're in sleeves. They're not going to be, let me just give you an example. See the vibrancy difference when they're in the sleeve and when they're out of the sleeve? I might take a couple out here and there, but just so you can see, they're much more vibrant when they're not in the sleeve, but I can't take all this out. But I wanted to show y'all different mediums that I use. So this was black acrylic paint. I will take this one out because this one actually did take me some hours. This is black acrylic paint, and the rest, this is all color pencil, except for the black. The black is acrylic paint, but everything else is just color pencil, nothing else. So, and this one took me hours and hours. And there's a video. I think there's a video of this. It would have been 10 years ago, maybe. Let's see if I have it on the back exact book. But most of the time I write the book on the back, not always. But yeah, this was I keep wanting to say Kirby, but it's not Kirby. Someone can remind me. What's his name? He had all those sketchbooks, the little thin color books. Somebody remind me of his name. It's going to be on the back of one of these because I have a lot of them, a lot of his books. I have all his books, and I've got a lot of pages in here. Bennett Klein. Thank you, Debbie. Bennett Klein books. That was a Bennett Klein. And so, yeah, these are Bennett Klein. Some have glitter on them, and some are just, but all this is paint. This is all acrylic paint, acrylic paint. The white streaks are acrylic paint, and then color pencil. Same for these acrylic paint backgrounds. But here again, I'll pull this out to show you the sample. See how the white pencil that works because it's on acrylic paint. You could not do this. You cannot do all that white on just a solid black pencil. Okay, what's on this one? That's just a bear there. And again, these are all Bennett Klein. Well, which I don't even know what happened to him. We were all coloring his pages and his books. I have like 20 books of his. Oh, you found the deer video. Oh my gosh. It's in multiple. I think that one is in multiple stages. And guys, if you go back to those old videos, the quality is not going to be 1080p. Just be forewarned. You go back to any of our old videos, they are not going to be the quality that we have now. So just FYI. Here's another one where I painted the background black acrylic and then was able to do this misty, smudgy technique with color pencil and maybe some Posca because of the acrylic. It's because of the acrylic that works. Okay, this one, the Bennett Klein. This one was just color pencil, I think. No marker or paint. I think this was all just pencil. And she was not a vampire. I made her one. That was a street cleaner again. Like, what is with that? Okay, so I'm just going to I'll pull out a few here and there, but this one is one of the few that I printed out on craft paper, and it's only with black and white pencil, nothing else, just black and white pencil on craft paper. So then here's some Doodlers Anonymous color book. So I cut out the cover and put that in here. So these are all, this is paint in the background. And mostly these are color pencil. These are mostly color pencil. Like his shirt here, that's all color pencil. This one I added paint in her hair or Posca. Ink, I did ink rain. Did a fibs, that's paint. Friends in the box. This one has gold on it, that's why I kept those in here. And these are a couple of whips, works in progress, that I just kept as they are so that I could show, some different techniques that will work in progress. These are Linda Ravenscroft's fairy book, I think. And they're UK, so they're a little taller. The European, Linda Ravenscroft. This is 2018. And this is paint in the back, but most everything else is all color pencil. I can tell by looking at it in person. I can see. I did go over the wings. The wings I went over with a, what is that called? This stuff here. The, what is it called? This, there's a name for this stuff. What is this stuff called? Winkostella. This Winkostella, I went over the wings with some Winkostella to add some fairy dust-esque stuff. See right there? But the rest is pencil. This I don't know. That's not pan pastel. Maybe this is watercolor up in here because I can tell. See how it's all smeary? That's some kind of watercolor. And then all this white lace is Posca. And there's a little bit of glitter in her earrings there. This is the what's her name? Glorious ink. I have all the Glorious, and I should pull that back out and do some more Glorious ink. I made her a vampire too. She wasn't a vampire. And I added silver hair. I pulled this out to show you the silver hair. And there's a lot of these have videos, not all of them. These two girls are, and again, I write them on the back, so I have to pull them out to tell you, but this is all, well, I can't get that one out. These are all color pencil. I think these might be some watercolor with pencil over it, and there's glitter on her. These are red acrylic paint backgrounds. And this is these are alcohol markers. I'm pretty sure these are alcohol markers. Let's see if I can get one out. Yeah, see, you can tell they're alcohol markers. This is Flowers and Gems by Grazia Salvo. Both of these are. And this is acrylic paint, but they are done in oh, I didn't hit the sneeze button in time. Sorry guys. I usually mute when I sneeze, but that one just came out of nowhere. So these are alcohol markers, and you can always tell by turning them over. But yeah. So alcohol markers and acrylic paint background. Thank you, Debbie. Again, I think this is alcohol markers. This one is, oh, I don't want to take them all out, guys. There's too many. I'll be here all day. Although I do want to take this one out because I did add dimensional to this one. This one I added, this one's alcohol marker, but then I added pearl stickles and liquid pearls. There you go. And that is dimensional. Those pearls are actually dots with the liquid pearls, like stickles, a little bottle of stickles, but it's liquid pearls. So, but she's alcohol marker. And stickles and liquid pearls. I love those liquid pearls. Right? This one was, who was this one? See, I have to take them. It's all on the backs. But this one was just color pencil, I think. I'm pretty sure this is color pencil and the Posca, the little white hairs and the white in the feathers are Posca, but otherwise this is color pencil. This is alcohol marker. This is pan pastel. This one's pan pastel with Posca, little Posca, and stencils. The background is stenciled. And I didn't show that today because I was showing colors, not tools, So I didn't pull out the stencils today, but that's I'll put in the description and a flip through so people can know that I did a flip through here. And I've shown these a lot of times, guys. But that's all stencil, and that's pan pastel with white Posca streaks, hairs. Same thing for this one. She was not a mermaid. I made her a mermaid with pan pastels and a stencil. This one has a lot of glitter on her. Let's see if I can get her out. There we go. And this one is Christine Karen, and I did her with a lot of stickles. Again, pan pastel. I think that's alcohol markers, pan pastel background, glitter in there. Stencil and pan pastels. That's just all pencil because that's older. So when I was first coloring pencil, all I was doing was just color pencil. No markers, no nothing, just pencil. And then I moved into acrylic paints. This is a little bit of a collage with paint. And this is a little bit of collage. And then I moved into my Jasmine Beckett Griffith. And this is pan pastel with Posca highlights. So I started getting more into the pan pastels. Can't remember what music. Well, some of them I'm not remembering exactly, but like when they're really old like this, I know they're pencil because that was all I was using at the time. Then this is pan pastel though. And these are all Jasmine ones coming up here. These are all, now this is paint. No pan pastel on these two. These are just paint because I wasn't using pan pastels yet. So those are both paint and pencil. This is just pencil and painted background, but she's all pencil. This one's got a lot of glitter in it. It's got a lot of Halloween, glowy stuff in that one. This was the first Jasmine one I ever did, and this one was ripped off. And I told Jasmine about it. She never answered me back, but this was the first Jasmine I did, and it's probably one of the first color book in my playlist that I did was this one. And it's got the acrylic background, and the rest is all pencil. And I messaged her and told her, I said, someone in some overseas country ripped this off and was making prints out of it. This my colored page, not just Jasmine's page, but this color book page. They're ripping this off and making prints out of it, T-shirts. And she never answered me back, so maybe she just goes, "Yeah, that's going to happen." So, and I just said, "Okay, well, hey, it's your design," so I just let it go, But this one is one of the first ones that I colored. Color book page way back when. I don't know if there's a date on the back or not, but it's out of this was the first book. Yeah. And there's the Halloween one with all the glitter on it. And this one is pan pastels and pencil. When I say pan pastel, it's also Prismacolor or some form of pencil because I always add pencil. And Bully wasn't on there. I put Bully on there. So this one there's no video for. I did this one just by myself. That's a lot. That's all Posca. This whole thing right here is Posca. And then I added the fire and also like the earth way back there. So she's not on earth. This one's got glitter in her. That's pencil. This is all pencil with Posca, a little bit of acrylic paint, and Stickles glitter. This one, I really like her. She's all pencil except for the back. The background's paint. That's paint. But she's all pencil, including her hair, with a little bit of acrylic paint and pencil in her hair. She did not have braids. I gave her braids. So I gave her braids. And see how I put a glow around her head? I could do that because that's acrylic paint. That's the only way you can do that. You can't do that on if that was pencil. So then she's got Stickles, but she's all pencil. Okay, she's got some glitter in her. This is pan pastel. This is Christine Karen. This is from 2018. Let's see, I'll put it on here. I can pull a few out because I have a couple minutes. So there's that. I really like her eyes. And I think I did the, I don't think she had any scales. I think I put the scales on her. Pan pastel, these three were the first pan pastel color book pages I did. I think I'm pretty sure these are Aikiko Japanese girls, and this is on like copy paper. This is those Amazon books, and this is all pan pastel and color pencil. Oh, good. I guess. Okay, Kat. I did not know that. So this is pan pastel and pencil, as is these three are all out of the same book. This one, and this one. That's pan pastel and pencil. Well, black acrylic paint in the background. Black acrylic paint, pan pastel, pencil, and so I could put a little glow around everything. So I love the colors in this one. And then Christine Karen has this book of realism, grayscale real portraits. So I did, I don't know, 3 or 4 of these. These are Christine Karen out of her grayscale portraits. So this one, I did 3, I think, out of this one. And then this guy there. Those are all Christine Karen grayscale portrait pages. Christine Karen as well. This was another Christine Karen. This one was out of Queen something. It's Queen. It's probably on the back, but it's all beautiful African American women. And yeah, so I did that one. Beauty Close Up Volume 1. I think I have Volume 1, 2, and I think maybe 3, but I know I have Volume 1 and 2. Beauty Close Up is the name of the book. I don't think it had an artist name on there. And this was I think this was a friend of mine. Is this the one? I'm not sure. Because I did color. No, this was Christine Karen's too. A friend of mine did a wizard and I colored it too, and it looks similar to this. But this is black acrylic paint in the background. And then I did a swirl here with white pencil and Posca. And then the beard and the owl, it's got Posca highlights in there. And then this one's a Christine Karen. And I did her as like an Egyptian goddess with gold highlight, gold Kuretake ink. And her braids turned out really good. Then this is where Lana Green, one of her pages goes in here too, I think. And then here's some more Lana Green. That's Lana Green. This one is, it's a liquid pearl too. And this one is, I pulled out 2 pages. This is Christine Karen. This is an alcohol marker. And it's out of Wildflower Folk. And I did liquid pearls on this one too. Liquid pearls look good, and it's pretty thin paper. So, but alcohol markers work good on thin paper. When you do pan pastel and acrylic together, what comes first? I don't know. So it depends. I'm not sure that I have a preference for one or the other. Sometimes I like the backgrounds first, But if you do, here's the thing about if you do the pan pastel or the marker or whatever first, is then you can go out of line. So I could do her face, the pan pastel could go out of lines because you're going to paint over it with the acrylic paint. So there's an advantage to doing everything first and then the background, but you can't do that glowy, pencily technique until you have the acrylic down. You see? So if you want any kind of, techniques in the background up here, you have to have the acrylic down first. So it just depends on what I'm using with it. But I love these pearls. I love those liquid pearls. And then this girl was out of Wildflower Folk as well, and she's alcohol markers. And then I gave her a little tea bag. I gave her a little. I gave her a little. I glued that in. I mean, I cut a little slice and put that in. So she's alcohol markers. She turned out pretty good too. I don't want to catch that tea bag thing. There we go. This one's Christine Karen, and again, I think she's alcohol markers. Let's see. You can always tell because of the backs. Yeah, see? This is Wildflower Folk. I did quite a few out of Wildflower Folk, and that's alcohol markers, except for Posca. You can see in her glasses. That's some glare, some, glare. But she's alcohol markers. This is another, here's another alcohol. I mean, I think that's mostly alcohol. Yes, alcohol markers and pencil and glitter. So this one's got stickles all over her, but she's alcohol marker, pencil, and glitter. And that's another Christine Karen Wildflower Folk. And that's got stencil in the background too. I know I'm missing a lot of comments, guys, so I'm just trying to get through this. So don't forget Devin comes on. Devin comes on at 3 today. Well, this one's another Wildflower Folk. This one's Troll Girl, alcohol marker. I wanted her hair to look like straw. And then a little bit of glitter on the jewelry. And then some more stenciled backgrounds. Lana Green. This one is just all black and white on a craft paper. This is a whip. This was a pan pastel background. Again, she was not a vampire. I made her a vampire and gave her holes in her neck. She was not a leopard. I made her the queen of leopards. I gave her leopard. I gave her fangs. I gave her a jewel crown and a jeweled necklace there. But yeah, and I gave her cat eye pupils. So I made her a queen of the leopards. This is another one with liquid pearls on it. There's a jewel like stickles in her pomegranate there. And I put, well, here, I'll put this one out. This one's also got pan pastel, or maybe it's ink. I think this one's ink with the little brushes. I inked it with the brush. Stenciled. And then I gave her glitter pomegranate and her lips, and then around there like that. So, but again, it's ink. This one's ink. Some are pan pastel, some are just ink with the brushes through the stencil. Just distress inks or whatever. There's a monochromatic. These are some Gnome House ones. These are out of the Western book. Hubster did this one, and I did this one, and then we did these back in 2019. He streamed with me. He colored that one. And then I think he colored that one, and I colored that one out of the Western book. This is out of the comic coloring book. Some whips, some works in progress. My mom's favorite, Mary Englebright. This was out of one of Somerset Studios, and I added collage to make her a queen. And this was out of I think it was a Somerset Studio edition. They had color books for a while. They had 4 of them, I think. I have all of them. This was a Tim Holtz design in those books, and I colored that one. And let's see. These are some more dragons. This has got tons of glitter on this one. What else do I have? I think that's about it. Then I have a few that I have not put in. This one we just did last year. And I don't have the name on. It's probably on the back there. But anyway, so she's marker. She's marker. And here's some other marker, because you can tell it's marker. And here are some of my Serenes. If y'all know what Serene books are, I don't think you can even get them anymore. But I have 2 of them, and these are some of the pages out of the Serene. And these are alcohol marker. This one is just paint and pencil, alcohol marker, and stickles. This one is just pencil. This was just pencil, no alcohol markers. This one is alcohol marker. This one's not finished. Some of these are not finished, but they're, demos for you guys. That's all pencil. Just pencil, blue and white pencil. This is another one of my goddesses with the gold in there. I have not finished the headdress. I really love her. That's alcohol marker. I love the colors in this one. Thanks, Kat. Love this one with the gold. Again, Kuretake gold. With the gold in this one. I like her face too. Same for this one. She's not done yet. This one I did for a Christmas thing. She's all glittered up. This is one of my favorites too. Just a couple of colors. Just gray and red, and her orange red hair and her green eyes, and I gave her freckles. This one's not done, but lots of gold in her. There's a video on this one. We did this one on stream. So yeah. And then I have a couple loose ones over here. So that's my binder. Now, this is not all my coloring, obviously. If they're in nice hardbound books, they're still in the books. Okay, I have a couple other ones over here from different projects that we've done. This one was from Collage Soup's, their little mini book. Collage Soup has a little mini color book, and we did this one on stream. And that was alcohol marker, because look. And some of these are just too big to be in anything. She's got lots of glitter with the she's crying over her little dragon. This is the Dragon Tales by Anastasia Ellie Cordova. And I cut that and put a little bookmark in there. But these are oversized pages. This one is a color book page and it's so big. It's on a piece of hard cardstock. And I cut her out and I made it into a collage. So she's a cutout of a color book. And then I collaged everything and made it into a collage. This one, something's sticking here. This was out of, it's this is the calendar, Kirby Roseanne's calendar. And I colored that's from this calendar. And then this one, these are out from those, Hollywood girl things. And she's all stickled up. She's all stickled in liquid pearls. What else do I have in here? Just some different little bits and pieces. This is another collage that I did not finish with the cat and all the little leaves. And let's see what else we have here. I think this is another Ellie Cordova lady, girl. And then the last one I have here is, let's put this down here. This post, come on, baby, get down. The last one I have is this poster that is by not Kirby. What's his name? This is his real name. He doesn't go by this. Let me back out. And it's a poster, and I need to finish this poster because I love this poster. But and it's 34 by 52. And I need to finish it. I've not finished it, obviously, but I'm trying to finish it someday. But it's a huge poster. It reminds me, Janet, of those ones that we got when we were teenagers, when you colored the whole poster. Nick Filbert. Thank you, Devin. So the one that does Serene, the one, all those big oversized long pages that I showed you, he's the same. It's the same one. So yeah. So I need to finish this one of these days. I've pretty much got a lot done on them, but like these roses here are not shaded in. This is like, I think it's alcohol marker and color pencil. So yeah. So there's that. One of these days, I can give you the ISBN. I think, nope, there's not even one on here. What year did this come out? It's out of Indonesia, I think. But I don't think you can. It's 2016. I don't think you can get this anymore. Oh, there's my mailman. Is he getting out? Is he bringing me anything? No, he's moving. He just got my mail and moved on. But anyway, that's what it looks like. And there's his real name. He goes by Nick Filbert, though. So, all right, guys. Well, I think I'll head on out. Hupster wanted me to make him tuna fish salad. I don't eat tuna fish, but he wanted tuna fish salad. Janet, he's actually having cat food today. Janet always teases me that I feed Hupster cat food for lunch. But no, I never do that. But today, tuna to me is cat food. Oh, wait, what do you want to see? Oh, someday we want to see it. You mean that poster when it's done? I missed it, Jane. Is that what you're talking about? The poster? Bye, Keeks. Thank you. I hope y'all had fun. I'm scrolling back. Did I miss anything important? I mean, I see a lot of compliments for all my work, and I do appreciate it. Thank you, guys. So you're welcome, Pamela B. Hi, and anybody else I might have missed. All right, guys, I'm going to head out. And again, I am working on my, where'd I put them? My ATCs. Where'd I put my little stack? Oh, here they are. I'm working on they're going to be Egyptian hieroglyphs in them, but I'm working on it. And if anybody, you're still here, everybody, whoever sent me the gold flakes, thank you. I'm going to be using them in my little ATC swap. And so I'm working on those. Look, I got to put some matte medium on it because they're flaking. They're flaking off. Oh, I did glue them down quite well. But anyway, so I've been working on my swap here. And, thanks. Hi, Arts of AB, Heart House, Joy. Anybody else I missed coming in? Cindy said, "D of all you have had." Oh, thank you. Yeah, we had the family get together this last Sunday because Cameron is on his way tomorrow. He's on his way to Yellowstone to work for 6 months, 6-month tour. Not a 3-hour tour, 6-month tour. So he's driving out there tomorrow with one of his coworkers, and they'll be out there for 6 months. And they wanted to drive this time rather than fly. So they're leaving tomorrow, so they won't be here for Easter. So we had an Easter get together, and Denise was here, of course, and Samantha. I showed pictures and stuff. If y'all missed the Monday stream with Denise. Okay, guys. The poster, Jane. Okay. All right, guys. Well, y'all have a blessed rest of your week and happy Resurrection Day. And we will see you all Monday. Bye, guys.